SUVs and crossovers are all the rage at the minute. Every manufacturer has one, or at least plans to make one in the next couple of years. So because of this, the market's getting very overcrowded, and the gap between more premium models and family SUVs is rapidly narrowing.
Yep, and the all-new Renault Koleos now enters the market at this critical time, and it aims to bridge the gap between cars like its Kadjar sibling and more high-end stuff like the BMW X3 and the Audi Q5. Now, unfortunately, we don't have the time to give this car a full review today. We will get it in at a later stage and give it the full treatment, but in the meantime, here's a quick introduction. 10 things that you need to know about the Koleos. Now, first things first, the looks. I know the trend these days is towards aggressive styling, but boy howdy, this thing looks tough. It's quite imposing to look at on the road, but at the same time it's quite cohesive, and there's also throwbacks to other cars like the smaller Kadjar and even the Megane with these swooping C-shaped daytime running lights. It's big and it's rough and it's ready, and it's also got an absolutely monstrous wheelbase, some 2 and a bit meters wide, which means that there's also loads of interior space.
Along with the aggressive looks, you also get cool things like an automatic tailgate, a flip-out tow bar and pull-down seats. So because of that, it gets car keys coveted Auto AF award.
Now, despite its large size, the Koleos is a 5-seater SUV, and Renault says will remain a 5-seater SUV. Now, despite the fact that many rivals, notably the Skoda Kodiaq, have 7 or 8 seats, Renault says that in real life, as I'm sure we all know, despite the fact that it's nice to be able to say that you have that many seats, they're not always that usable. So even though this has 5, they're 5 damn good seats, making the best use of the space available. Speaking of, time for number 4.
Like Ryan said, these seats are very, very comfortable. I'm 6 foot and knee room is, but you couldn't ask for any more. Headroom is okay considering you do get this sunroof as standard. And what's very impressive is, Ryan, could you go and get the camera?
Oh yeah.
So what's very impressive is the size of these cushions. They go all the way down, unlike other cars, which you just get a cushion like this. So this seat is very, very comfortable. And for a transmission tunnel on a 4-wheel drive car, that is basically non-existent. The rear seats are also heated. These front seats are heated and cooled and crazy comfortable, and you get this central like cup holder cubby section which is heated and cooled, so if you want to have a coffee you can keep it warm. If you want to have a beer, don't drink and drive, but if you want to put a beer in it, you can keep it cool. And if you upgrade to Signature, you get a heated steering wheel and a heated windscreen. Oh, you also get electrically adjustable seats on all trims.
Now, interestingly, this car comes with a new CVT gearbox. It's the first CVT auto that Renault has made in a very, very long time. And I know that these gearboxes tend to get a bit maligned by the press and by drivers and by, well, pretty much everybody. But this one is quite different. It uses a different design to most CVTs, and so it feels much more responsive, much more natural. And whenever you put your foot down, it doesn't go, "Argh!" which can only be a bonus.
Interestingly, the Koleos is only available with diesels from launch. Now Renault say this is because the only people who are going to buy this kind of car are people who want a diesel. So because of this, you can get 2 diesels, a 1.6 129 brake horsepower engine and a 2 litre 170 brake horsepower engine.
Now, as well as that, Renault says that this car is very handy off-road. We haven't personally been able to test that out yet, but with such short overhangs at the front and rear and the high ride height, it should be able to clamber over obstacles with relative ease. With the more powerful engine options, you can also specify optional 4-wheel drive. The system stays at front-wheel drive most of the time, but it'll send more power to the rear as and when needed. There's also a diff lock here, so you can lock all 4 wheels up if you're going to tackle proper, serious off-roading.
In terms of trims, you only get 2, Dynamic S and Signature. Now Dynamic S is the entry level and you get a lot of kit for what you're paying for. 7-inch portrait screen with R-Link 2 that has sat-nav, DAB, Bluetooth, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. You get the panoramic sunroof as standard, and a bunch of safety stuff like lane departure warning, hands-free parking, and blind spot warning. And if you were wondering, it also got a Euro NCAP 5-star safety rating.
Now, in terms of pricing, the new Renault Koleos starts from £27,500, while the range top with the signature trim starts from £29,800. Anyway, that's pretty much it from us here. Like we said, we will get the car in for a full week's review and for a proper video at a later stage.
And if you would like to watch another video, click on screen now. If you'd like to learn more about the Koleos, click on screen now. And if you would like to subscribe, click here.
Oh, do you not mean here?
Hey, that was sick.
So?